Right now, somewhere in the UK, someone is sitting in a dealership showroom looking at a monthly payment of around £299 and thinking, that sounds pretty reasonable. They're about to sign a 4-year PCP agreement on a car they'll never actually own, paying interest on top of a loss that starts the second they drive off the forecourt. And nobody in that room is going to tell them the real number. That's what this video is about. 9 in 10 new cars in the UK are now bought on finance, and PCP, personal contract purchase, dominates the market. The dealerships love it, the lenders love it, and most buyers don't find out why until it's too late. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how this works, why it's costing UK drivers thousands more than it should, and, this is the part most people miss, what you should actually do instead to come out miles ahead. And I want to flag something right at the start. There's one thing sitting underneath all of this that goes way beyond the monthly payment trap. Something that's been running since 2007, that the FCA confirmed this year, and that affects around 12 million people. I'll get to that in a bit. And if you've had any kind of car finance since 2007, you're going to want to hear it. Let's start with the part that catches most people off guard: depreciation. The average new car in the UK loses roughly 26.7% of its value in its first year alone. Across all new cars in the UK, that works out at an average of £43 every single day in lost value. And on a £30,000 car specifically, you're looking at around £22 a day evaporating the moment you drive away. Popular SUVs like the Kia Sportage, Nissan Qashqai, and Hyundai Tucson, the exact models sitting in every other driveway on your street, start from £30,615 to £33,105. So we're not talking about exotic cars. We're talking about completely ordinary purchases, making ordinary buyers hemorrhage money they don't even see leaving. And here's what makes this genuinely painful. With PCP finance rates running at 6 to 9% APR today, you're simultaneously paying interest on something that's shrinking in value every single month. You're losing money in two directions at once, and the monthly payment figure on the forecourt screen hides both of them completely. To put the scale of this in context, new car prices have risen 89% in the past 10 years, from an average of £18,000 to £34,000 today. The depreciation hit in real pounds is bigger than it's ever been. The cost of buying even a basic small car has risen nearly 50% since 2020 alone. You are paying more for the asset, losing more of it faster, and financing that loss at interest. That is the core trap, and almost nobody walks into a dealership understanding it. Now let's talk about the structure of PCP itself, because this is where it gets deliberately confusing. PCP works by splitting the car's cost into 3 chunks: a deposit up front, monthly payments across the term, and then a final lump sum at the end, called the Guaranteed Minimum Future Value, or GMFV. The monthly payments look manageable precisely because the biggest chunk of the car's cost, often 40 to 50% of its original value, is deferred to the end. It's a balloon payment, and most people can't afford to pay it when it arrives. So what happens? They hand the car back and immediately sign a new PCP, which is exactly what the dealer wants. You've spent 3 or 4 years paying, you've built zero equity, you own nothing, and you're straight back into another agreement. It's not a purchase plan, it's a permanent rental dressed up as one. And the total cost comparison makes this even clearer. On a £30,000 car, a PCP deal at 8.9% APR over 4 years with a £7,000 balloon payment at the end results in a total repayable cost of around £39,000. The same car bought via an unsecured personal loan at 5 to 6.9% APR, costs around £33,500 to £34,500 total, and you own the car outright at the end. No balloon, no mileage restrictions, no condition charges. That's a potential saving of £4,500 to £5,500 on a single car purchase, just by choosing a different financial product. Over 2 or 3 car purchases in a lifetime, that compounds into tens of thousands of pounds sitting in your pocket instead of a lender's. And before we get to what you should do instead, I need to tell you about the thing that's been running quietly underneath all of this for nearly 2 decades. Between 2007 and 2021, car dealerships across the UK were using something called discretionary commission arrangements. Here's what that means in plain English. The dealer could secretly increase your interest rate and pocket the difference as extra commission without telling you. You thought you were getting the rate the lender offered. You weren't. You were getting a rate the dealer had inflated to line their own pocket, and you had no idea. The FCA banned this practice in 2021, but the damage was already done, and this year, the full scale of it finally came into the open. The FCA confirmed an industry-wide redress scheme covering 12 million motor finance agreements taken out between 2007 and 2024, with £9.1 billion set to be returned to affected customers. The average compensation is estimated at £829 per agreement, with some receiving more and some less. Now here's the current situation as of July 2026, because this has moved fast and most people haven't caught up. On July 2nd, 2026, the upper tribunal partially suspended the scheme, following legal challenges from 4 parties. 3 major lenders, including Volkswagen Financial Services and Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, and a consumer group. Court hearings are now expected in December 2026 or February 2027, with a ruling coming months after that. Payouts that were supposed to begin this year are now delayed. If the scheme survives the legal challenge, compensation could begin flowing in 2027. If it's struck down, it could be 2028 or later. But here's what matters right now, and what most people are getting wrong about this. The deadline to submit your complaint to your lender is still 31st August 2027. It is still completely free. And you absolutely do not need a claims management company, many of which are currently charging over 30% of any compensation they recover for you. That is money you don't need to give away. Go directly to your lender, follow the process on the FCA's website, and get your complaint logged. The FCA has confirmed that customers who submit complaints earlier may receive compensation faster once the scheme is fully operational. Log it now and let the legal process play out. If you had any PCP or HP agreement between April 2007 and November 2024, that is your action from this video. If you're finding this useful, drop a comment below. I genuinely want to know how many people watching this are currently in a PCP deal, because the numbers are staggering. And if someone you know is about to sign one, share this video with them. It could save them thousands. Now, there's one more trap inside the PCP trap that almost nobody budgets for, and it's the one that catches people completely off guard at the end of the contract. Mileage caps. PCP agreements come with annual mileage limits, typically 8,000 to 12,000 miles per year. Every mile over that limit costs you 5 to 10 pence at the end of the contract. For a driver doing 15,000 miles a year on a 10,000-mile limit, that's 5,000 excess miles annually, potentially £250 to £500 per year, or up to £1,500 over a 3-year deal, in charges they never budgeted for. And that's before you factor in condition charges for minor scuffs and wear. The dealer has every incentive to set the mileage cap low when writing the contract, because the overage fees at the end are pure profit. And when you zoom out and look at the full picture of what car ownership actually costs in 2026, this is where it gets really uncomfortable. Research published this year found the average annual cost of car ownership, factoring in finance, insurance, fuel, servicing, depreciation, and tax, now exceeds £11,500. That's over £900 a month. Most PCP buyers only see the £250 to £350 monthly finance payment on the forecourt and budget around that figure alone. The other £550 to £650 per month in running costs shows up as a series of unpleasant surprises throughout the year, quietly making the car one of the biggest wealth destroyers in the average UK adult's life. So what do you actually do instead? 3 things consistently beat PCP on total cost. The first is a personal loan for buyers with good credit. You borrow a fixed amount, own the car outright once all payments are completed. No balloon payment, no mileage cap, no condition charges. Currently available at 5 to 6.9% APR versus the 6 to 9% you'd pay on PCP, and the total cost saving can be £4,500 to £5,500 on a single purchase. The second option is a nearly new used car, 1 to 2 years old, combined with a personal loan. The average used car price currently sits at around £16,735, roughly half the price of a new equivalent, with the steepest depreciation already absorbed by the first owner. You sidestep the 26.7% first-year value cliff entirely while still getting a near-new car with low mileage and a full service history. The third option is hire purchase. Monthly payments are higher than PCP because you're paying off the full value of the car, but every single payment builds toward ownership. No balloon payment waiting at the end, no surprise bill, no moment where you realize you've spent 4 years paying for something you have to hand back. The golden rule across all 3: always calculate the total amount repayable, not the monthly payment. Dealerships are trained to anchor you on the monthly figure because it makes any car look affordable. The total number is the only one that matters. The monthly payment is a distraction. The total cost is the truth. A personal loan or a nearly new car on HP will almost always beat PCP when you run the real numbers. And if you had any kind of car finance between 2007 and 2024, complain to your lender directly, free, before August 2027. If you want to go deeper on how to actually negotiate a better deal at a dealership, drop a comment below and I will make a video covering that soon.